For over 10 years, a brutal civil war has raged in Sierra Leone. It has claimed the lives of over 100,000 people and left the country in ruins. Greed has fueled this war. As the fighting dies down, there's a chance to examine a diamond trade that's soaked in blood.
Oh, me people there, we don't get peace. We don't get peace, thief for it no day. We don't get peace, oh, thief for it no day. Oh, me people there, oh, pray to God.
This is the next challenge for this tragic West African country, dealing with the blood diamonds. Diamonds from Sierra Leone are reputed to be some of the best in the world. Around $70 million worth leave the country every year, most of them smuggled. Officially, the government only exports 11 million. They claim to be losing millions of dollars through the rebel smuggling activities. Last year, the government tried to clamp down and introduced a new system to stop the rebel smuggling. It's meant to trace a diamond's origin from mine to retailer. But millions of dollars of these gems are still being smuggled out of the country, bypassing these offices because an unscrupulous industry is happy to buy them, no questions asked. Here, exporter stock is valued, then checked to ensure these are not blood diamonds bought from the rebels. Nadola Myers, a former De Beers employee, is the government valuer. One of his tasks is to ensure no blood diamonds filter through.
The rebels are in the Diamonds Ferrous areas, that is Tongo and the Kono area, and that borders Liberia. So they sort of smuggle the diamonds to Liberia, because when we look at the international figures on what Sierra Leone exported in comparison to what Liberia exported, that doesn't have diamonds as much as Sierra Leone, it's laughable. Because, last year we exported about 11 million, and Liberia exported close to about $100 and something million. So it's our diamonds.
Liberia and Guinea both export diamonds, but most are smuggled from Sierra Leone. Corruption is the problem here, although the government likes to insist things are getting better.
The government legal system indicates to us that there is reduced smuggling going on. We cannot claim to have stopped smuggling altogether, but I think we can reasonably conclude that some measure of success has been attained.
But how successful are the attempts to stem the trade? I was last here 7 years ago to report the war. Back then, no one discussed blood diamonds. Sierra Leone has vast mineral wealth, gold, bauxite, timber and copper, yet it remains one of the poorest countries on earth. Bordered by Liberia and Guinea, its porous borders have long been a popular route for smuggling raw materials, weapons, and more significantly, diamonds. In 1991, former Army Corporal Foday Sankoh led the Revolutionary United Front from the jungles bordering Liberia and declared war upon the government. His battle cry was a fight against corruption and the poverty of his people. The bloody civil war that ensued claimed the lives of thousands, displaced millions, and exposed the civilian population to a barbarism that shocked the world. Today, Foday Sankoh is a prisoner of the British-backed government, and the United Nations is struggling to broker peace. But Sankoh's men fight on and still control the country's most prosperous mining areas in the east, areas the government is desperate to get its hands on. My journey begins at a legal mine in government territory, east of Freetown. Even here, conditions are harsh and methods are basic. We watched as the men washed and sifted gravel to find diamonds. Luck is the main ingredient. It can take months to find a single stone. Most of these men were displaced by the war. Many were farmers. Their livelihoods shattered when the war came to their villages. Mining is the only job they can do now. All live in hope of finding a diamond large enough to take care of their families for the rest of their lives.
Each man can have sometimes 3 cups of rice and 1,500 leons, sometimes 1,000 leons. It depends. Mining is hard, but if you get a stone, bigger stones, you'll be up, definitely. Always when you are doing mining, it's like what we are doing now. It's possible we get 200 carats, 300 carats. That one can give you millions of dollars. So always we are thinking high, so that is why we always get ourselves in mining. That is one point. Secondly, there's no job. You know, when the rebels come, they vandalize us, burn our houses, kill some of our people, cut some of their hands. So, because some of us here, some of them they are farmers, you know, but they cannot go to the farm. Because if you go, say you go and start farming this time, then how can you live? Your family will perish. So except you have to go and find a supporter, somebody who will give you money. Then he said, work for me here, just like what we are doing.
Dreams of riches fuel their labor. Most miners in Sierra Leone earn less than 20 cents per day. The miners here believe they're lucky because they earn double that. Tamba Leby was once a successful miner in the east of Sierra Leone. When the RUF attacked his hometown of Kono, he was forced to flee to the jungle with his family. Tamba lost everything.
Here is not my own land. My own land is Kono. Kono has the highest deposit of diamond in this country. I can tell you that. If it were Kono, maybe you cannot see me in the dirty like this. You only see me. I used to work with 150 boys. I support them for myself. But now I cannot do that.
I was not surprised by Tamba's story. The war has displaced over half of the population. Over the past 10 years, the RUF, government soldiers, mercenaries, and civilian militia have battled for control of these mineral-rich areas. The civilians were caught in the middle. Many were used as slave labor. Others fled in their thousands, only to starve or die of malaria in the jungle.
The rebels drive us, 1992. We go to another man's country. We go and live there like a refugee at Guinea. You know, struggle, we come back. We start to resettle back. They come back and drive us again. Burn all our houses, our cars, money, everything. You walk on your foot like this. You walk 200, 300 miles, 700 miles on foot. It's hard struggle. Sometimes you sleep in the bush. You always worry for your life because if the rebels meet you, they kill you, they fire you. They even come to time, you hide from rebel, you hide from Kamajos, you hide from soldier. I lose my father, I lost my mother, then even my elder sisters and my uncles. 2 of my sisters died, you know, and my younger brothers, one of my youngest brothers, he too died in the RAF territory. By then he was trying to escape to find Guinea. They captured him, slaughtered him.
Most civilians have never set eyes on a diamond, yet diamonds have destroyed their lives. Even in Freetown, you can see the devastation. I went to visit a camp where the brutality of war is clear. Particular to this conflict was arbitrary amputation. Captured civilians were often offered a choice, to have either their arm or leg chopped off. Those who hesitated were killed. I find it disturbing that the government can spend millions on fighting the rebels, but ignore the plight of these amputees. Like Tamba, Jibril Sase was a miner from Kono. 2 years ago, he fled his hometown when the RUF attacked.
The camp is not a human being camp. As you have seen, first of all, our sanitation is not good. Too poor. We haven't got enough medicines, enough food.
There is no sanitation or electricity here. The inhabitants exist solely by charity. There are 200 amputees and their families at this camp. Most have been reduced to begging. It is hard to imagine how people who have endured so much can continue in the conditions I witnessed. Jibril is still haunted by what happened to him. He actually knew the man who cut off his hand. He was a neighbor who joined the rebels in their fight against the West African peacekeeping force, ECOMOG.
One day I tuned my radio and had an announcement that the ECOMOG have captured Kweduta. So we tied our bundles on the way to Kweduta to meet the ECOMOG. We fell into their ambush. They told us to stop. You are going to the ECOMOG, so you love the ECOMOG than us. Where have you been? Those were the questions they were asking us. So they decided to kill some of our colleagues, and they raped some of the women and killed them, stabbed them to death. My wife was stabbed to death in front of me, so I was amputated with 5 people.
Jibril and others like him were innocent victims. They had no idea why this war was being fought. But as the war came to their towns, it was clear that diamonds were the focus, not political change. A pattern soon emerged. Areas were attacked due to their access or location to diamond-rich sites. In a frenzy of bloodthirsty greed, a sense of morality and respect for human life was lost. Now in the camp, there is a growing sense of anger against the hypocrisy of the international community who have fueled this conflict.
Why would you say this war in Sierra Leone is being fought?
Well, it was, let's say it was for in order for people to earn for money. Let's say for money. It was for diamonds. People for their own self-benefit. For self-benefit. When the war started, the major target for the RUF was for diamonds. From the time then when they've occupied the diamond mines, and they've been getting this diamond, they exchange it for weapons.
But wasn't there any political ambitions behind the war? Was it solely for diamonds?
Yes. We have no good houses, no good schooling. Teachers have not been paid. Other government workers have not been paid. So what benefit have we get from those diamonds? We've been amputated because of those diamonds.
But obviously there's a world market for diamonds. What do you feel about people in perhaps more affluent countries? What do you feel they can actually do to assist this problem?
It is the responsibility of the world market to get hold of these diamonds from Sierra Leone here, or get hold of those people and put them to court, or bring those diamonds back here.
If the smuggling is so prolific, why hasn't the government, do you think, not done anything to stop that?
Let me tell you, part of this governmental body have got hands in most of this smuggling, let me tell you.
So you believe the government is actually involved in the smuggling?
Yes, there are some ministers, in fact, involved.
So if the international body, I mean the UNOMSIL, stop these RUF boys to mine in Kono or other mining areas, I think peace will have to come in this country.
Do you long to return home?
That's our plan.
For Jibril and his friends, Sierra Leone's diamonds, which should have been their fortune, have been little more than a curse. There is a desperation for the war to end and peace to hold.
Sierra Leone was a very beautiful and lovely country. I always dream about this place when I go to bed. And I am praying for this peace because this was not my condition. Our present condition, especially with the amputees, is too bad. Let me tell you, gentlemen, it is too bad.
The peace Jibril dreams of relies on these men, the United Nations. I wanted to see the efforts they had been making at brokering peace, so I travelled with them into RUF territory in the east of Sierra Leone. The roads have been deliberately destroyed in an effort to slow down any enemy advance. The UN were understandably nervous, for the RUF fighters have previously kidnapped entire companies of UN soldiers. These are the RUF, young men, virtually teenagers, responsible for some of the most despicable atrocities imaginable. The UN is trying to persuade these fighters to put away their weapons, weapons which have been bought with diamonds. They want them to join in the electoral process. Watching them swagger around, it was hard to imagine them giving up power so easily. They are all seasoned fighters who have spent most of this war in the bush. They are suspicious of the UN and the disarmament program. I wanted to get to the heart of the diamond trade, so I travelled north to Kono, the RUF stronghold, some 280 miles from Freetown. It was the first time the RUF had allowed cameras into the region. People talk of slave labour and arbitrary executions in Kono. When I was last in Sierra Leone 7 years ago, these areas were no-go zones. There had been heavy fighting here for the past 3 weeks. I arrived here expecting war. There was no sign of it. These young fighters, trained and armed by the British-backed government, are used against the RUF in breach of the UN-sponsored peace agreement signed in Nigeria in May. Only yesterday, these men had been preparing to launch an offensive against Kono. To my surprise, they were surrendering. In this senseless war, these young men are also guilty of atrocities. Sick of fighting, they were handing in their weapons and seeking UN protection. This is the battleground, the Kono mines. Everyone here is involved in trade. The only movement I saw was to and from the mines. Not surprisingly, this area has witnessed some of the fiercest fighting in the country. Abandoned Nigerian tanks and equipment are all that is left as a reminder of the hundreds of Nigerian peacekeepers who died here. Kono holds massive treasure, underground kimberlite deposits, large rock formations containing prized diamonds worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But they remain buried, inaccessible to the RUF because they can't work the equipment needed to reach deep underground. These mines were abandoned by their foreign owners when the RUF seized control of Kono from the Nigerian peacekeepers. Now the government is frantic to get its hands on these valuable kimberlite deposits.
One of the biggest pipes, the dikes in Koidu, is very, very big. And that could be able to ignite and push our economy right to its zenith. The kimberlite mining in Tongo and Kono would change the economic situation here in Sierra Leone.
Koidu town, the capital of Kono. A burnt-out shell. This was not the heavily fortified RUF stronghold I was told to expect.
Kono was a beautiful place. Electricity and the water supply was running there perfectly. Business was going on there good.
You see, it's because of the diamonds. Right now, the RUF are researching in our own land, Kono. Now they are mining our houses, all our lands, they are mining just to exploit the diamonds.
I visited the RUF headquarters. There I had an appointment to meet the feared fighter, Brigadier Maurice Colon, second in command.
The government is just trying to destroy the image of RUF. But for the moment you yourself walk on the street today, get to my house, and I got back here, if RUF in Lola area, you have to see 2-3 people fighting on the street. But I believe you didn't observe anything like that. Everybody moving about with their business, laughing on the street. I'm quite sure you saw it for yourself. In the first place, good morning, my people.
Calon was determined to stage a meeting of the town council for our cameras.
RUF don't sign 210 peace accord now.
After all they've been accused of, they were bizarrely concerned about their image.
So that hostility will stop and then...
Gathered in this room with little to do, the town council seemed uneasy with their role.
So that election can come.
There was little to discuss and even less signs of a local administration at work. It is a town council without a town.
So this is our opinion to you.
Calon was keen to dispel some of the rumors which have tainted the RUF.
The RUF always tell you, the chiefs, to make sure all the young men in Kono are to dig diamond. Is it true?
No, sir, no, sir. The diamond digging in Kono, maybe from intervention. We came out meet the people are digging diamond in the town.
In the township?
In the township. By then, we came here. Right now, people from Freetown, Bo, Kenema, Guinea, come and dig diamond for themselves.
The RUF were desperate to assure me that they had moved away from random violence. I wasn't entirely convinced.
Those people are still raping women, though they are not amputating people again. They are beating men to work for them. They don't give them food. When you work for the whole of the day, they don't give you food. They just tell you, go to the bush and dig out bush yams. No water supplies, no electricity. They say they haven't made any laws. Everybody is free for himself or herself.
They force people, you must work by force, whether you like it or not. They will just meet a young man like, hey you, come on, come over here. With gunpoint, come on, you work here, you work, no food, you work for the day.
Everywhere I visited, people were digging. The destruction wrought by fighting is nothing compared to what is being done in the pursuit of diamonds.
So how much is this stone worth? This stone? I need $2,000. It was 500 2 minutes ago.
Sure. So it's supposed to be diamonds,
Who are you going to, which jeweler?
the Maracama.
You're going to sell it to Maraca?
Yes.
How much will a Maraca give you?
He give me the $1,000.
$1,000 for this?
Yeah, this is the one guaranteed 50%.
What are you going to do with your $1,000?
I'm going to make benefit for my family.
When I interviewed the miners, it didn't seem to be the forced labor I had often heard about. But when I pushed the issue of who they were actually mining for, they seemed nervous about answering questions. The RUF presence was everywhere.
How long have you been mining?
For 5 years.
5 years now.
Yeah.
5 years.
And do you mine for yourself or do you mine for the government, for the RUF?
For myself.
Have you been successful?
Well, not yet.
So when you find something, what will it be yours or does the RUF?
Only for myself.
Only for yourself? Are you mining privately?
Some hid their faces, frightened of repercussions if the territory is retaken.
What? Who are you mining for?
I'm mining for RUF.
You mine for the RUF?
Yeah.
So everything you find here goes to the RUF?
Yeah.
In the RAF territory, no, it is only the RAF people, it's better for them. But if you are not in the RAF, you go to the RAF territory, he said you work there, your life should be risk. If you got diamond, they kill you and take the diamond away from you.
It was difficult to verify these allegations. The mines were teeming with RUF fighters, but to be fair, the conditions were no harsher than that of the mines in government areas. Calon insisted these miners were free men.
But you ever experience any RUF soldier for just can't take anybody grab it for themselves that way?
No, that is out of law.
It is out of law. So no RUF attempt to take your grab. So all miners mine for themselves.
Of course. This is a free mining of General Sierra Leone.
But the RUF to just use any civilian popular free to force them to mine for RUF?
No.
This your man, is he mining for RUF or mining for you?
This I can assure you. 90% of them are civilian and they are mining for themselves. And 60% I can confirm that they are Kono people.
They are Kono people?
Yeah, they are the founder of the soil.
The founder of the soil. So you are their kind of negotiation. You share gravel with them. Wheresoever you dig Kono land, you share gravel with them.
Yes, because they are the owner of the land. So negotiate with them. They can assure it. Is it lie?
No. But gentlemen, RUF soldier harassing you people? No. Any harassment? No problem. RUF is not using anybody as a slave. Many Sierra Leoneans from Freetown are coming every day with trucks, with load of goods, come, sell, and go back. So everybody are free, son and daughter, to Kono land. There's no threat, no human... there's nothing to do against any human being way it will go against the RUF political party. But how you see now peace coming to Kono?
Of course, I can assure that the people of Kono in general, because Kono is the obstacle to peace, they are really 90%. They are really 90% guaranteed that peace is now on the way.
But if myself can ask for diamond, I will not go give me?
If it is necessary for give to, but it is not necessary. That was not a thing that you can give to someone like that.
They were laughing for our camera. I didn't really expect anyone to contradict him. There is evidence of brutality in RUF areas. This looked like a sanitized version of life under the rebels.
Are you a supporter of RUF?
No, they are not supporters of the RUF. They are just ordinary civilians. They've gone to civilian from the 9 years, 10 years ago. So this is the time they think that they can make money for themselves. So start rehabilitating their houses, which have been destroyed by the war.
So RUF can harass people? No!
It is true that the RUF made money from diamonds when they first took control of Kono and seized large stockpiles. But there was no sign of diamond money in this town. It seems their stockpiles have now run out. So suing for peace is not just a political decision, but an economic one. The valuable diamonds are in the kimberlite mines, and the RUF openly admit these are out of their reach.
RUF has no mining equipment. Our RUF can even mine to that worth. The Sierra Leone mining now is a complete kimber mining. Before mining kimber, unless you spend millions upon millions to get the type of equipment to able mine the kimber, but we are not doing that kind of mining. Only commodistic mining, where you can find just your living for the day. RUF do not set up special revenue for the mining. What we did, as the war deteriorated plenty people displaced, when RUF got this area, they offer it to Sierra Leone. Whatsoever you get there is your own. Whatsoever RUF gets is for RUF family.
Whatever the RUF does dig up is sold here. In this street, Maracas, traders from Gambia and Senegal, openly buy stones. They travel throughout West Africa smuggling diamonds.
Right now in Kono, they are there, they mine the diamond. Doesn't take much to imagine that they have couriers to take it to, the next stage, mostly maybe Liberia, from there to the other centers, eventually before it gets into the market. The other way around, the proceeds will come either in cash or probably in kind, mainly maybe in guns and weapons.
Alusine Kamara is one of the RUF's most influential diamond traders. According to him, Liberia is not the only route for smuggling. He challenges the government line that diamonds go through Liberia. He says it's much easier to sell diamonds through corrupt officials in Kenema or Freetown.
We sell diamonds to the Sierra Leone government. We're civilians. We do nothing to the people. The diamonds we get, we sell in Freetown. We don't sell them abroad. We don't sell them to Liberia or Guinea. Only the Sierra Leone government.
So you buy diamonds from the RUF?
I buy diamond to everybody.
Everybody, not just the RUF. If they pay me in dollars, I'll bring back dollars. If they pay me in leones, I'll bring back leones.
So they'll pay you in dollars and you would bring these dollars back and pay the RUF?
Yes.
And how often do you go down to Freetown?
Every month.
A month I go Freetown.
Do you know that they've actually placed an embargo against diamonds from conflict regions such as Kono?
When you go to the marketplace, no dealer is going to ask you where you get your diamonds. If you're a millionaire and I bring the diamond to you, I show it to you. If you agree, you buy it. If not, I go.
I sold the diamond to you. If you me, I buy it.
No one will ask if it's from Liberia or Guinea.
Guinea, Liberia, no. The market to the activities.
Many of the Maracas use the same methods. They have connections with legitimate dealers throughout the country who are only too happy to sell blood diamonds using their legal licenses.
Has anyone ever questioned you about where your diamonds come from?
Yeah, no. Last time when they stopped the...
You're meant to produce a digging license. We have a digging license for Bow and Kenema.
In the custom, we count diamond, they give custom. You must produce a license.
It is this license that we produce when we go to officials.
We get the license from Bow, Kenema. When you go now, you produce to the government.
You produce the licenses that you have for mining in Bow and Kenema as the license for mining the stones that you have in Kono. I see. So that's the loophole, is it?
This is a game of double play. I have a digging license for Kenema and Bow. When you mine for diamonds in Kono, you tell the government they're from Kenema and Bow.
But the government knows, people who buy these diamonds, they know they're from Kono.
He knows who they are. Government knows who they are.
They know the diamonds come from Kono.
He know.
So this is the heart of the problem. It's easy to disguise the origin of diamonds, and demand is such that hardly anyone in the trade asks any questions. The market will pay for diamonds wherever they come from.
Do you believe the Belgians, Israelis, British, American, do you believe they all know that a lot of these diamonds are blood diamonds, but they still buy?
Yeah, they buy still.
Of course they know. When you go to Europe with diamonds, they're not going to ask you where they're from. Even you, if I give you this diamond and it's worth $1 million, you know you can sell it on. You're not going to ask where I got it, because I've given you a profit. So you can eat. You're not going to ask me where I got the diamond.
I'm not going to tell you. You know, ask me question, me say, show me the diamonds I pull out.
If Kamara's allegations are true, it means the system of certification is a PR exercise to pacify consumers and the international community. Even government officials disagree over whether one can really identify if a stone is a blood diamond or a legitimate one.
I've been in this trade for the past 30 years, and every diamond has a peculiar look from the area it comes from. The ones that come from Kano are quite plain and simple, shiny, good-looking, bigger stones, clearer stones. So we are able to differentiate between diamonds that come from Kano as of those that come from the government-owned areas.
It's very subjective. It's your personal knowledge. It's not a scientific method. I mean, you can say with your own experience, you can say this, from my experience of Kano or Tongo diamonds, this diamond comes from Tongo. It's very likely. And my own, maybe we both have the same experience and I may have a completely different view. So it's not a very reliable, as I say, it's very subjective.
This is Kenema. Situated 170 miles from the capital, it's a major trading center for diamonds. Rebels, smugglers, and legitimate dealers all buy and sell here. The town is full of dealers. Many are Lebanese. Few have licenses. The profits they make easily pay off mines inspectors supposed to regulate the business. Few legitimate buyers are choosing to open offices here. The competition is too dirty.
A lot of diamond dealers, everybody goes, all the merchants have claimed themselves to be diamond dealers. Diamond dealer, diamond dealer, diamond dealer, just like that. See, you can understand what is happening in this country. And if you can check all these offices, they are all illegal, damn too illegal. You can see one office being operated by 5 or 6 brothers operating under the same license. I feel too angry about that, definitely. I feel too, I become so disgusted, definitely. But no other way to do. I don't have, as I've been saying, most of these people, when our government ministers come to this area or our government top officers, you see them conniving with them, moving together, they move together, they mingle together, they do everything in common. I feel too bitter about that. I would like to see all these offices mounted by these so-called dealers being owned by Sierra Leoneans instead of Lebanese merchants. 45,000 and 90,000.
Albert Benji is pushing for change. One of the few Sierra Leoneans in the business, he wants the trade to benefit his own people. Currently, dealers smuggle large diamonds by legally registering their trade in small stones, creating a smokescreen. They get these smaller stones through intimidation. Albert's concern is that local miners are regularly ripped off by foreign dealers.
If they negotiate for a price and he finds out that the miner doesn't want to agree, accept his own price, he easily sent to any of the monitoring officers or senior monitoring officers to come to his aid. In what way? He sent call for him quickly. The miner will not be afraid that he hasn't got any legal document to get diamond, to get hold on diamond. He hasn't got any legal document for that. What he do is, he will decide to sell the diamond in whatever cost, because if he say he will get out with the diamond, they will catch him because he hasn't got mining license. So he sells that under duress with no whatever price they determine. Tell me how much.
Set up special.
Albert knows the activities of dealers and officials all too well. He has been in the business a long time and has had countless confrontations with them. He is a leading member of an organization pushing the way to have better mining conditions and pay for indigenous miners.
200. 200,000. Corruption is a national issue. That is really what we are crying to this Tijan Kaba government to try to wipe off that quickly, because the suffering is much, and we the common people are really traumatized with such with the war. and traumatized with all these things because a lot of corruption from the ministries, government ministers getting themselves involved into mining activities, you know.
It's a problem the government prefers to ignore. In a country where the average annual salary is $250, corruption is inevitable. The government rejects the charge of corruption. It insists things are getting better and their officials can be trusted.
The diamond situation is such that you have to have sophisticated methods of monitoring. I'm afraid we don't have. And we rely on integrity of our officers. All you have told me that everybody in the whole system is rotten, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
It has destroyed the nation. You will see the type of destruction that has been done to the ordinary individual who was not involved in governance, who was not involved in the diamond trade, who was only an ordinary farmer. All of these people have suffered considerably. Our mistakes have been identified, and from now on, I believe everybody else will put his arm on the wheel and turn it for the development of this nation.
Can't let we go to Freetown, sister. Can't let we go, sweet Sierra Leone. Can't let we go, Freetown, sister. Can't let we go, sweet Sierra Leone.
The theory is, if peace comes to the country, Myers and his men will no longer be on the lookout for blood diamonds, and the RUF will no longer be a part of the picture. But as long as officials deny there is a problem, peace cannot be assured, and the mineral wealth of the country will continue to be sold off to Western consumers without having benefited the people.
May the Lord bring us good leaders who can stop all these things in the country. If all these things stop, then maybe the layman can know his rights, because we have a heavy deposit in this country. But if you don't have somebody strong at the back of you, you cannot reap the benefit of it. We would like everything to be under proper control. This is all we need in this country presently, because if not, definitely sufferation will continue, because people have suffered a lot, you know.
Let them stop the mining. Let them stop the mining. Let them tell those guys to stop the mining. So, for now, if everything goes well, then the government will have to introduce a new mining policy. But for now, let the mining stop.
Can't let we go to Freetown, sister. Can't let we go, sweet Sierra Leone. Can't let we go to Freetown, sister. Can't let we go, sweet Sierra Leone. It's like the last sunset. Can't let we go, sweet Sierra Leone.